When he's about to enter, the professor says this joke, kind of, which is, this could be important, which turns out to be retroactively a joke, because it isn't important. It's like the most meaningless thing ever that the guy asks for him. And I have a soft spot for this joke. I always find it really funny. I think what's happening here is that the professor is organizing, he's getting everything ready, right? And taking a lot of precautions with this meeting with the king. And yet, really, the meeting with the king is going to be complete bullshit. As much as I love this following scene with the Panther King, I've realized that I think I need to take this in not exactly a non-linear direction, but I'm going to do something that's like scrubbing from this point to adjacent points close to it. Okay, so let's move on to the bit where we meet the Queen Bee. Conker meets the Queen Bee, and there's a problem. The problem is, well, we're crying, right? The Queen is crying. Something's happening. And what this means is that something bad has happened that the Queen didn't want to happen. Hi. So, what can we say about this? It's a different day now, by the way. The Queen is sad because something has happened. The Panther King was also sad because something had happened. The Panther King was sad because the table had spilt the milk. The table had broken. And that made him sad. That made him cry over spilled milk, I think, is the pun that's being implied by that scene. So in both cases, we've got monarchs, kings, or queens who are sad because something has happened to them. But in both cases, things are slightly different, because in the case of the Panther King, the game is not really empathizing with his character. He seems to be the bad guy here, and we shouldn't help him with his problems. That's, the villain's stuff. They should deal with it. In the case of the Queen Bee, it's presented as if Conker suddenly finds someone who's sympathetic, at least sympathetic enough to help them. Of course, because you get something out of it. You get money out of it. Or whatever it may be, just because you don't really mind helping them, or it's annoying to not help them, and so you want to help them just to get it over with, kind of thing, or whatever. But for whatever reason, suddenly this is sympathetic, I would claim. And with the Queen Bee, what's happening is that the hive has gone missing. And the hive is, in some sense, the society that she is a queen of. The place that she rules over, and therefore all of the people that she rules over, all of the houses of all of the other bees, all of the whatever structures that she is ruling over, all of that she has lost. It's gone away. So what's interesting is that then Conker is asked by her to return this beehive to her. So Conker is in charge of returning to her society, so that it is hers again, so to speak, right? So that she once again has a society for her to be the queen of, or something, to return her to power in some way, maybe. And what can we say about that? Well, Conker is then asked to do this again in the game. I think he's asked to do it again and again and again. It's a really recurring theme. he's asked to go to war, which is sort of presented by the game as an act of saving one's country, so kind of returning one's country to its rule, and avoid it being lost to the rule of others or something. So Conker is then fighting for a country. He even commits genocide of the whole tribe of the Ooga Boogas. In the Ooga Booga chapter, he commits that genocide because the weasels ask him to. So the weasels need whatever. They need, in a sense, what the weasels need is their terrain to be gained back. They want that land. They want that land back for them. Back as in, they want to steal it or whatever. And so Conker needs to return that land to them, which involves, in some way, working for power. He's constantly working for power, returning to power their country, their world, their power, giving them back their power, in a sense, I think, and getting money for it in exchange, which then gives him power, gives Conker power, until at the end, Conker is the most powerful person in the world, the king, because he's gained all the money in the world, one would presume.